Hey, look at me, you, me, you, me, you. Okay, cool. Now that we're 100% same page, that was enough stimming for you. There's a lot of yapping in my videos. If you don't like that, I've got the original video linked in the description of every video that I react to. You can go watch it there. Nice and uninterrupted from my yaps. But if you want my yaps, stick around, because you will have fucking plenty of them. Trust me on that. It's going to be the psychology of limited spaces, why we're drawn to the forgotten spaces of nostalgia. Sit back, relax, and let's fucking go.
Have you ever felt an eerie sense of familiarity when you look at a deserted hallway, an empty mall, or a quiet school after hours? It's as if these places whisper stories of the past while holding on to the chilling silence of the present. These are liminal spaces, the spaces in between, filled with an uncanny quiet and an air of nostalgia. In today's video, we're diving into these hauntingly beautiful places, unraveling the threads of the mystery they hold, and exploring the surprising connection they have with our personal stories of trauma, fear, and loneliness. So if you're ready to step into the twilight zone of liminality, stick around and let's take this journey together. There's a memory of mine, a really clear one from when I was a kid. I was 7 or 8, just me and my grandpa out in the city late at night. City lights were glowing and skyscrapers were standing tall, and in one of those huge buildings, I saw something that really stuck with me. There was a family having dinner. I could see them, each person, the table they were eating at, even the chairs they were sitting on. It was kind of amazing to watch. They were just going about their life, eating dinner just like any other night, and they had no idea I was watching. I remember telling my grandpa about this, how watching those people eating dinner made me feel sad, and I know it sounds strange, but that was a real turning point for me. A couple of years before this moment, my parents had split up, so seeing those people living what looked like a normal life made me kind of want.
Dude, like, that's so wild. Like, I'm sure, like, a lot of, it has to do with the psychology of it. Like, a lot of those liminal space like experiences that you have, whether it's like in a dream or like you see something in the game and it invokes a certain like emotional response. Dude, it's like, it's gotta be like, it's not that it's gotta be, it is. It's wild that that is from like almost trauma response. Like, that's what it feels like it's from. Like, you see something or you have something happen to you and your body almost creates like and never, literally a liminal and never ending space of a, it's like slightly off because it's not quite real, and your brain does its best to kind of piece together the trauma and like use that as a way to kind of build everything back up and try to make amends for it's really interesting. I think that's really cool. I think that's really cool.
The same thing for myself. You might be asking, how does this connect with liminal spaces? Well, here's the thing. The sense of unease, the eeriness that often arises when we look at liminal spaces, it doesn't come from nowhere. In my view, this feeling springs from trauma, much like a lot of our feelings do.
Yeah, like that's what I just that's what I was just saying.
Spaces. Many of the images we associate with liminal spaces are places that are familiar, maybe even nostalgic for us.
Yeah, like things you want to go back to, places that like you've been, or environments you want to experience again. It's like a safe place.
That sense of nostalgia.
That's why it's almost like a limitless form of that area.
Like, for example, most of the time these pictures are taken at night. They show us places we remember from our childhood, but something is off. Something happened, it's not quite right. Just think about people who are like addicted to horror movies and horror books. There's research out there, which I'll link in the description, showing that people who've experienced trauma are often drawn to horror. Something about the fear and anxiety they generate is soothing to them. So, in a way, liminal spaces are like super specific horror pieces finely tuned to the traumas that linger from our childhoods.
Yeah, that's basically what I was saying.
Drawn towards our trauma. Things like fetishes, for example, can often be traced back to trauma, and revisiting that trauma in some way can actually be a comforting experience.
Interesting. That's odd to think about. This doesn't just apply
to trauma from our childhood, though. There's another common theme in liminal spaces besides their connection to places from our past. They're always empty. Being in one would be like exploring a deserted place completely alone. Does that sound familiar? Maybe even relatable? Being alone can be a traumatic experience, more common than you might think. And trauma...
But like being alone, well, it can be a traumatic experience, right? Because you're a kid, that typically stems from like being a kid, being lost. A lot of that trauma, like, depending on how you were left alone, like a lot of that trauma actually comes from the fear of like the trouble you're going to be in when you get found. Like, I actually consider being alone now. Obviously, I'm an adult now, whatever, but I consider being alone very soothing. I prefer it over being next to people almost 9 times out of 10. Occasionally, excuse me, occasionally, I will find myself getting tired of the like loneliness where I'm like, oh man, it'd be nice to talk to somebody, or oh, it'd be nice to just even know someone's in another room, right? And that's why it's like I love my wife. I mean, she's the perfect pair. She brings everything together for me in my life, and it's just like that's I appreciate. Even knowing that, I appreciate the like simple process of just being alone, like going through a walk on the woods. I much rather prefer going on a hike by myself in the deep woods than going through like a big party scene. I couldn't stand a fucking party scene. It's too exhausting. Or going and like doing group activities. Like I prefer to work on my own. Like I'd rather take on a higher workload to just be by myself. But yeah, it's losing the plot, but that's the idea. Is like I completely understand like well, there could be a fear of like being alone. I think it's actually like a way of your brain trying to find comfort in what exactly it is that you're like rehashing in your head.
Doesn't have to be debilitating. If you ever suffered a bad breakup, you know what I mean. Trauma doesn't have to be like physical or super extreme. It's just got to be traumatic to your brain. And there's a strange kind of comfort in reliving that sense of loneliness. These images of liminal spaces, they capture that feeling of being alone perfectly. It's a sort of glorified loneliness, an eerie solitude. You're not just alone in your room, you're alone in a huge, abandoned complex that you can explore. Often, these places even spark a sense of nostalgia. The combination of loneliness and the echoes of our childhood traumas make liminal spaces strangely comforting to us. It's like they have everything we want to see and feel all in one image. If you're watching this video, you've probably felt that eerie sensation that comes with looking at these images.
You absolutely have. I mean, there's certain times you just see these.
From your childhood? Do you miss the feeling of safety your parents provided you when you were young? Have you ever been alone? Are you alone right now?
I would say for me, it's the lack of safety I felt like I was provided. But yeah, that's basically what I was saying. Like that, like it's just going to stem from that childhood trauma that creates these spaces where you can go on infinitely. It feels like you're more in control.
Liminal spaces are a unique phenomenon. They're both captivating and mysterious, and my appreciation for them is something that'll never fade. But hey, maybe they're just creepy and we like spooky stuff. What's up, bro? Like calling Jared from Subway at 3 a.m., whatever the hell is on YouTube now. There's also something else going on here.
Yeah, Aldo's
As
world
humans,
is a joke,
we have this
bro.
instinctual fascination with mystery. We love to explore and uncover. When you look at one of these images, your mind automatically starts weaving stories. What is this place? How did I get here? Can I leave? There's a unique kind of allure to this mystery, though. We're given all the clues we need, and yet we're left with nothing. No one's trying to stop us from getting too close to the truth. There's no secret government agency in black suits waiting to intervene, looking at you, Backrooms. And still, we're left clueless, unable to decipher what's
terrifying
really going on.
but cool.
That leads us to a few questions. Is there an answer to this? Can we escape this? It might feel...
On a side note, I'm really excited for the Backrooms movie. I think it looks great. Like, I think the trailer was fantastic. I think it's going to turn out wonderful, and I'm actually genuinely really excited for that. I think Kane Pixels has done a great job for the Backrooms community, and I guarantee there's a lot of, like, as there is with any community, there's a lot of purists where they're like, oh, well, he created a bunch of his own lore, and da-da-da-da, you know, it's not the Backrooms. The Backrooms was meant to be unfinished. That's the whole point. Fuck off. Like, he's done a great job. He's very talented, and I look very forward to the movie, and I'm very happy that Markiplier put out his movie, because now this is kind of showing other people that you can beat Hollywood, because their movies fucking suck. Bro, like a Bollywood movie is so much more entertaining nowadays than half of the shit that's put out in fucking Hollywood. It's insane. Insane. Come on. There we go.
like you're not even real anymore. Like it's all a dream.
Little technical
why
mishaps.
here? The very essence of these images demands constant questioning.
Why grass
It's scary,
stairs?
and it gives us a rush of adrenaline and dopamine. We can't help but feel fear. Think about the movie I'm Thinking of Ending Things. If you haven't seen it, here's a spoiler alert, and here's a timestamp to skip to if you don't want to get spoiled.
I
The
don't
film
care.
follows an old man who is lost in the maze of his past, replaying and reimagining the choices he made, wrestling with the loneliness that haunts his present. The movie is drenched in the aesthetic of liminal spaces. Almost every scene, every shot can be considered one. What's unique about this film is that it takes us, the audience, deep into the old man's dream world. It's a space filled with uncertainty, mystery, and a kind of disquieting fear. It's like being inside a sprawling, complex liminal space, one constructed from fragments of memories and seasoned with regret. When you watch the film, you're often unsure of what's happening, like you've been dropped into an unsettling dream. The narrative is unclear, the future uncertain, and you're left questioning if you're even gonna be okay. That's a feeling many of us experience in life, particularly when we're dealing with trauma or difficult emotions. It's that same eerie sensation that liminal spaces evoke, the feeling of being on the cusp of something, of being in transition and not knowing what lies ahead. The protagonist in the film is a woman whose identity remains uncertain, a mystery to herself and to us. She's an invention of the old man's mind, a ghost conjured from his past, and just like a figure in a liminal space, she's trapped, caught between being and non-being. And the idea of being trapped can be terrifying, but there's also a strange comfort in it. It's a familiar fear, one we've all felt in different ways at different points in our lives. Just like in the movie,
Like a big way, because 99% of the time that's a fear, being trapped. It's the like, get me out, get me out, get me out, right? But a lot of the times and this is a reason why like you have like abusive relationships and stuff, is the thought of being trapped and knowing like it builds almost like a routine. That's why people stay in those situations, because they're used to it. They manage to tell themselves it's not that bad, and then they find comfort in the things that they shouldn't, but it's their brain rationalizing things to try to make their situation better. Like, oh, this is a horrible situation, but these are all these things I don't have to do, and if I just stay in this situation, I don't ever have to do those. Like, those are pretty cool. Like, they don't really mean anything, but I'm going to tell myself they mean something. That's essentially what it is. It's unfortunate that's the case, though. I guess that's my whole point. It is unfortunate that as much as it is like a negative thing, somehow our brains make that into a positive thing as a trauma response. I think all of this stems back to trauma.
we find ourselves stuck in the liminal spaces of our own lives, navigating the blurry boundaries of our past and future. Looking at pictures of liminal spaces or watching
That Tulsi
films like
town
I'm
is
Thinking
just a
Ending
rip of
Things,
Wendy's.
It's almost like we're stepping back into a state of
Which
being
might be a good
trapped or
narrative
stuck,
decision.
but
Like, the
from a
brain
safe
can't like
distance.
quite remember,
Our brains
you
seem
know?
to find a kind of solace in this space. This experience of fear or uncertainty provides a peculiar
It's awful.
form of relief for our minds, often overrun with stress and anxiety.
That's just
As we
megalophobia.
journey
That's not
further
even a
into the
liminal
world of
space.
Liminal spaces, we find ourselves approaching a subject that is both fascinating and relatable to many: escapism. But what do we mean when we talk
Okay,
about
yeah.
escapism? Simply put, it is a tendency to seek distraction and relief from unpleasant realities, particularly by seeking entertainment or engaging in fantasy.
Why a lot of people do
It's
drugs
a mental time
to
out,
kind
a
of
way
like
to
that
step back
mindset
from the nitty-gritty
mentality.
of our daily lives and just breathe. From the psychological perspective, escapism is a tool that we humans use to cope with the pressures, the stresses, and the complexities of our existence. So, where do liminal places come into play? These spaces, empty and filled with the echoes of actions past, offer the perfect stage for our minds to wander free, detached from the constraints of reality. They stand apart from the hustle and bustle of everyday life, existing outside the parameters of our normal social spaces. They offer us a little break, a chance to step off the treadmill of daily life and explore the realms of our own thoughts and emotions. Think about it. Have you ever walked through an empty school hallway after hours, or found yourself alone in a public park just as the sun starts to set?
That shit's eerie as
these liminal
fuck, bro.
spaces seem to exist in their own little bubbles, detached from the world around them. They offer us a unique opportunity to let go of our worries, our
Also, whoever's
anxieties, our
playing
roles,
this
and
this
responsibilities,
game in
if
this
only for a
B-roll is a
moment.
fucking
In essence,
psychopath.
liminal spaces serve as vessels for our escapism. They exist outside our usual experiences based space and time outside the real world. Here, in these thresholds of reality, we can temporarily leave behind the weight of the world, allowing our minds to roam free. We can let go, and in the silence and solitude of these spaces, find a different kind of connection, a different kind of freedom. It's in these silent corridors, these deserted playgrounds, these lonely highways, that we can truly escape and just be. Now, let's talk about a peculiar aspect of human nature, the attraction to isolation and loneliness. It may seem counterintuitive, a bit of a paradox even, to find comfort in loneliness. After all, we're social beings, right? However, it's not unusual to find solace in solitude, to crave moments of quiet introspection away from the clamor of the world. This is where liminal...
So it's not that necessarily we're social beings in the sense of like we have to have interaction. We're just pack animals. Like we humans always were for a large majority of time. As they hunted in groups, they made decisions in groups, and that's where modern day society has stemmed from. And that it helps like functionally build, I'm going to say foundationally build how we function. I got it a little mixed up, whatever. It helps foundationally build how we function as a society and as an individual. And the reason why, especially recently, I mean, there's always been like introverts and people who would call themselves nomads because they like to wander, right? It's becoming more of an apparent, you could call it an issue, but it's more of, I would say more of a trend to prioritize oneself and your sanctity in secluding yourself. It became a big thing after COVID because a lot of people who were shut in, a lot of people hated it, but there was a select amount of people who realized they really liked it. They really enjoyed not having to go out and do anything. And they didn't care how they were perceived because their sanctity mattered the most to them, because it's a level of removing variables from your life that you otherwise would usually have to consider or worry about. And that's where a big part of it is because I think, and this is me speaking to myself because I'm a heavy introvert, and I think I'll be an introvert for my entire life, but I think as I get older, I will become less introverted, not because I'm getting older, more confident, whatever. I think it's because the reason why your external actions are a reaction and evidence of your internal situations and your feelings. So if you, at least to me, that's how I perceive it, right? I could be wrong, whatever. If you externally are somebody who is very shut in, right? That means that you may actually want to connect with people, but you are worried about what could happen. And a lot of the time that is from a trauma response, like everything else I said in this video, and your brain shuts it down. For the most commonly known reason is because XYZ is bad. What can I do to avoid XYZ? I can do this, right? That's why it does it. But I would say more often than that one, just less commonly referred to or known and are understood, is that your brain actually prefers seclusion because when you remove variables from your external life, your brain can put more effort and time towards introspection and healing the issues that you've had in the past. That's why, as much as I don't necessarily participate in it, because I think it's been kind of bastardized to an extent, but I do think therapy is very valuable because it can provide people with what they feel like is an unbiased opinion, because it's a person who doesn't know me, and while I am paying them, I'm not paying them to tell me I'm amazing. I'm paying them to tell me what is wrong with me. If I wanted somebody to tell me I was amazing, I wouldn't be going to a therapist. Like, some people go to a therapist, right, and pay them and just say, oh, well, here's 20 reasons why I'm not the problem. And the therapist goes, I'm getting paid to tell you you're the problem, so maybe this isn't best for you. But that's why I would say a lot of the times, like, that's why I think I am, because there's things that I think about in my life that I'm stressed about, and removing external variables, like worrying about making somebody else happy, worrying what I'm saying, worrying about how I look, what I'm doing, what my actions are making others perceive. Staying home alone, I don't have to fucking worry about that. I just do what I want to do, and I don't care because no one, it's not like no one knows anything. Like, I'm just there, right? I can eat over my stove, no one's gonna fucking say anything. Weird example, but you get the point.
Spaces shine. These deserted and abandoned spaces can serve as sanctuaries of solitude, where one can revel in the tranquility that isolation brings. In today's fast-paced society, where we're often bombarded by noise, responsibilities, and expectations, solitude can be a potent form of self-care and healing. It gives us room to breathe, to process, and to simply exist without any demands being made of us. In the empty expanse of a liminal space, you have the opportunity to sit with your thoughts, untangle your feelings, and maybe, just maybe, find some peace. These spaces aren't just calming, but they can be therapeutic as well. The disconnection that liminal spaces provide can serve as a balm for our overworked minds and weary hearts. Away from the pressing demands and expectations of society, these spaces offer a refuge for our mental and emotional selves. In these spaces, you have the freedom to think, to feel, to simply be, without judgment or expectation. More than that, liminal spaces can also facilitate personal reflection and insight. The emptiness, the quiet, the sheer stillness of these spaces.
Go back. There was eyes there, wasn't there?
The emptiness, the quiet,
yeah,
the
there
sheer
were. That
stillness of
fucking
these
got
spaces
me.
can stimulate introspection and self-reflection. These in-between spaces, caught in the twilight of
Did you
here
see
and
it?
there, then and now, allow us to delve into the recesses of our minds, unearthing thoughts and
Okay, so
feelings
there is
that
someone
we
following
might
them.
not
I'm
have
not
been aware
crazy.
of. And sometimes, in these quiet moments of introspection, you might experience a shift in perspective, a spark of understanding, a transformative realization that leads to personal growth and development. Maybe you understand something about yourself that you hadn't before. Perhaps you see an old problem in a new light. These breakthrough moments can occur anywhere, but there's something special about having them in these liminal spaces, where the outside world seems to fall away, leaving nothing but you and your thoughts. So, as odd as it might seem, there is comfort to be found in these empty transitional spaces. In their quiet solitude, we can find a respite from the world, a place for introspection, and perhaps a deeper understanding of ourselves. In the end, what ties all this together is the feeling of loneliness. It's the common thread running through our fascination with horror, with the eeriness of liminal spaces.
I mean, yeah,
and with the
loneliness
stories like the
and
one in
being
I'm Thinking
helpless
of
is what
Ending
builds
Things.
horror.
These images, these films, they help us express and explore our own feelings of loneliness and isolation. Remember, we all feel alone in one way or another. It's a part of the human experience. That's why I'm so grateful for these images, these films, these liminal spaces. They offer us a way to connect with and understand a part of ourselves that's often difficult to confront. They hold a mirror to our fears and our traumas, and in doing so, they help us make sense of our own inner worlds. I am honestly so grateful that God, that Jesus made these spaces for us to enjoy. Anyways, have a great night. Sleep well.
I'm kidding. It was a great video, but it's just funny how there's all this like psychological talk, and it's just like, I'm happy Jesus made this for me. It's like, okay, always comes back to that. But I mean, not a big deal. It's just it was a complete. It felt completely random. But great video. I mean, it was a good video. I do think seems like one of this guy's older videos from what I could see on the channel. And I think you could tell because he's definitely talking really fast. Like it was one of those things where I could tell that this was a 12-minute video that definitely could have been 20. And it felt like he was just trying to just blah, 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 like all the other. But besides that, it was a great video. I mean, no knock to the guy or anything. If this is clearly 2 years old, I think. I mean, for this being one of his first videos, he's doing a great job. He's doing a very good job. So, but yeah, man, that's about it. I don't have much else to say. But have a great night.